What are you playing, Pledge? It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. I'm Jason Minix. We're live out at the Roo Pub, 281 and Redland Road. Come hang out with us. Stick around and watch the games tonight. There's a big game Saturday out there at Benson Stadium, as we are every Thursday, joined by UIW head football coach Eric Morris. Coach, man, congrats on a successful bye week.
Thank you. We're undefeated this week. That's what I love about bye week.
What did you guys?
Although my son's team, they're called Team Fireball, 5-year-old soccer team. And they got to pick their own name, and their Team Fireball. I've been saying that we need to bring maybe those little miniature shots of Fireball for the parents after victories. Hasn't happened yet, but we did get an 8-0 victory this week in Team Fireball.
8-0. If you were doing those little mini shots of Fireball after every score, your kid would have to drive home.
There ain't no doubt. Uber these days. Uber's a magical thing, so you can hit at the tip of a button.
Absolutely, it is, and I am certainly a big believer in that for sure. Team Fireball, interesting. On a bye week like this, you guys have been on such a roll. Some bye weeks come at a perfect time. Others, some coaches don't like because you don't want to mess up the consistency and the stride that you've been working on. How did you gauge how your team responded to the week off?
Yeah, I took a different approach this year. I mean, I think we have some older guys that are playing at a high level right now, some mature individuals. So I actually practiced less on this bye week than we ever have in the past. We had 3 light practices during the week, gave them a couple of days off, didn't lift them very much, and then gave them the whole weekend off, which is a little bit nerve-wracking, especially during the time of COVID. But the majority of our guys are vaccinated, like you and I have talked about. And so for them, I think, to get home on the weekend, watch a little football, spend time with family, get some of mom or grandma's cooking, is kind of good for the soul. And I thought they came back recharged this week. We've had a great week of preparation. And, the only way to tell is Saturday about 3 p.m. Ask me that question again. I'll tell you if I made the right decision or the wrong decision.
Well, kickoff on Saturday morning is at 11 there at Benson Stadium. Are you a coach, Eric Morris, that believes in revenge games?
Yeah, I mean, I think, and there's so many times, even when you talk to it with your team, we have so many key components of this team that weren't a part of that game. So I never like to build it up too much. But I do think, it's not a secret. And we've been priding ourselves this year. This is a year of first. I mean, the first time we beat an FBS team, the first time we've had a shutout. And so we're trying to build on that motto right now. And everybody on our team does right now know that we have not been able to beat Nicholls since I've been here. And so we're looking for a first this Saturday.
Well, not only, I guess, I didn't realize you had not beaten Nicholls, but I know last year they put 75 on you. And I remember talking to you the week after, and I didn't even know what to ask you about that. But I would imagine that, especially for that defensive staff, 75 last time you played, it's got to be different this year.
Yeah, no doubt, and no different than any other game. I mean, we got to come out a week better than the week before and eliminate some mistakes. And so I know we've gone back and watched that film with our team. And, I'd say that they try to attack us in some of the similar ways that they did a year ago. And yeah, I'm not proud of that 75-45 defeat right there. But I do love this football team. I believe in my football squad right now, and excited to watch them come out and compete on Saturday.
Eric Morris, head football coach at UIW, joining us here on the Blitz. Again, they play Saturday morning at 11 against Nicholls. If you want to get tickets to that game, go to uiwcardinals.com/tickets or call 210-805-3000, 805-3000. Get tickets. The tailgating there is fun. It's early. It's fun. And then you get the game in the afternoon. And at 11, a good time to get things going. Tell me about Nicholls, because we know what they did last year, and we're not going to harp on it, although I got a feeling that if you probably won't pull starters in the fourth quarter of that one and take your foot off the gas pedal. But tell me about the Nicholls team this year.
Yeah, they have everybody back. I mean, and it starts with Dejon Dixon. They got a true NFL prospect wide receiver, someone that, a bunch of people were surprised that didn't go in the transfer portal because he's had such a production over the last 4 years. I mean, a guy that's 6'4", 220 pounds. Seems like he catches, over 150 yards every game. And so, and then their quarterback's really dynamic. Guy that's, I would say an FCS level of Kyler Murray likes to run around. People can't seem to tackle him. They run him quite a bit, and then he can make all the throws that he needs to make. So, offense, they have a ton of firepower. We're going to have to definitely stop those two guys if we want a chance to win.
Knowing how explosive they can be on offense, and with a lot of college teams, when I see their record and I don't know who they played, I try not to judge them based off of a record because who knows who they have played if you haven't looked it up. But knowing the offense that they are capable of running, does that change your play calling style any? Just with the old adage is our best defense is ball control offense. They can't score if they're on the sidelines.
I don't think we're built for that here, and we have one of the best trigger mans in the nation, and so but yeah, I mean, we on purpose, like you and I have talked about, we added a bunch of run game, a bunch of tight end sets. So, we're not just going to be, like Ole Miss and gas on the pedal the whole entire game and try to run 100 plays. I mean, we're averaging, 72 plays right now, which is about the median of college football. So we're going to do what we do. I mean, we're going to try to go out there and execute at a high level and play our game. And I like our chances.
And you think about with what you have in Cam Ward at quarterback, the run game that you guys have, the offensive line, just everything there. You've got to go out there and be you. You mentioned 72 plays a game on average. Where does that rank for all of college football? To me, that just seems high.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it, just holistically in FBS or the FCS this year. But yeah, I would say it's a little bit high. I would say, upper 60s would probably be the median right now with where football teams are going. And everybody's just throwing the ball now. I mean, it's not a ground and pound league. You even look at, the Alabamas of the world and people that are winning national championships. I mean, the passing game has become a big part of it.
It certainly has. You mentioned Alabama. When you see a team, something like what you saw last Saturday night with A&M knocking off Alabama, everybody thought that Alabama was going to go in there and destroy A&M, especially based on the way they played the last couple of weeks. It's one of the things we all love about college football, but as a coach, if you're Nick Saban, what do you say to your team to get them back up and ready to go the next week?
Yeah, and one thing that's different about us in the profession is anytime you're dealing with 105, 18 to 22-year-old kids, I mean, people just don't understand the ups and downs, and these kids are in the middle of midterms right now, and they have personal problems, and there's just so many dynamics that go into preparing week in, week out, and that's why I think you see so many upsets in this game. And but yeah, I think Nick does a great job. He's had evaluated some of the best talent in the nation over the course of the last 10 years, and does a great job of motivating those guys internally. And so I think just working on correcting those mistakes, pointing it out, constructive criticism, and then I'm sure he was anxious to get back on the field and work some of those keys out on Tuesday afternoon.
I bet you. And with the bye last week, what all games did you watch?
Yeah, it was good. I started at 8 a.m. with Team Fireball, and then I got home at 11. I was able to turn on the Red River Robbery, which was a lot of fun. A bunch of Oklahoma coaches coached me in college, so it was fun to watch those guys come back. I was flipping over between that and the Ole Miss game in Arkansas, which is, a ton of points being scored there. And then on my next TV, I always bring another TV. I have one outside going, one inside, and I sit where I can see both of them. And I actually had the Nicholls and Southeastern Louisiana game playing on ESPN Plus. So flipping back and forth in the living room and then watching the Nicholls Sea Dogs. And there's a lot of fun at night watching that Alabama game.
Yeah, and I didn't hear you mention Texas Tech because, man, that's kind of a tough watch this year.
Yeah, and I haven't been able to watch them yet. I haven't been able to catch them. I looked at the stats just because I saw someone had told me that TCU only threw the ball like 10 times or something. I said, no way, that's not right. So I had to fact check that. So I pulled up, my ESPN app, and looked at it, and apparently they were able to run the ball all over the yard against the Red Raiders.
Yeah, they were. I'm curious because you know Lincoln Riley so well. How do you handle a situation like what he's going through right now at OU with the quarterback situation, polling one, and now you've got a quarterback controversy that you've got to try to manage?
Yeah, never easy, and the biggest thing is you never want to divide in the locker room. I think is the biggest thing. And but one thing that I noticed, and I told my wife during the game, is that you could just tell that the team kind of rallied around him, like their whole spirits lifted. He was high fiving, chest bumping people on the sideline. He seemed to have great energy about himself. The team was excited when they put him in there, and so it didn't seem like there was a fall off in any of those things, which I think kind of you worry about when you take a guy like Rattler out. And one thing that's interesting to me is, everybody made a big deal of these kids making money in the NIL. And, you look at some of the top guys who got all the money, with Rattler and then the quarterback Howell at UNC and then De'Aaron King. I mean, none of them really are having very good years. And I think that, it'll be interesting to kind of monitor that going forward of these kids, making these large amounts of money and then not performing at a high level. And they're 19, 20-year-old kids.
And it's interesting with the NAL because the way I understand it, it can't be performance-based or any additional bonuses based on wins. When somebody writes them a check, they get the check whether they perform well or not, get benched or not, right? And it is interesting, though, that the ones that cashed in early are not doing as well. And, in the era of transfer portal, Lincoln Riley apparently shut out local media up there in Oklahoma City and all the other stuff and not making either quarterback available. And it does feel like he's got to make the change, but he doesn't know how to handle Spencer Rattler in the delicate situation that it is.
Yeah, and that's tough. I mean, everybody knows the answer to the question. I mean, he didn't have Spencer Rattler come to practice on Monday. I mean, there's no way in hell that you're not going to have your starting quarterback there on a Monday morning practice if that's who's starting for you. So there's always weird dynamics that go into it. I mean, I think you have to respect both sides. I think you got to do the right thing for the morale of the team. And he's got two great ones. And, I think, you look at some of the unique situations. I think, you look back to Kyle Allen, Kyler Murray, both at A&M at the same time, and that was mishandled. And both of them went on to have great careers somewhere else than A&M. And so yeah, and same thing. We were in the middle of one, we had a guy that was starting for us at Texas Tech that ended up being the first round draft pick and or the first pick of the whole entire draft. And so you look back on some of those things and not everybody's perfect. You make mistakes, but yeah, I think there's no way he doesn't go with the freshman this week.
It's going to be interesting to see. He is Eric Morris, head football coach at UIW. They've got Nicholls at Benson Stadium this Saturday, 11 a.m. Get your tickets by calling 210-805-3000 or uiwcardinals.com/tickets. Have fun, Coach. Good luck.
I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it. Eric Morris, head football coach of them UIW Cardinals. Good luck to the Cardinals and to Team Fireball as well as they continue their run through the Little League Soccer season. I wonder who named them at Team Fireball. I'm down with it, though. That's for sure.